Alright, so today we've got proposition 13. I'm going to try to do this one quick without honestly really looking at my notes because my work ends in an hour. May or may not be doing this at work. So let's start with the construction. We have the cone, ABC, we have the axial triangle, ABC, we have a section drawn so that the common section of the section and the well, it would normally be the base, but now it's the plane of the base is FG, and FG is at right angles to the axial triangle, so that means the whole section is in a plane at right angles to the axial triangle. We have the diameter EDG. G is where it hits BC extended. Then from A, we dropped AK parallel to EG. Then in our conic section, we picked a point L. We dropped LM. Then we have our kickstand EH, and EH is constructed so that DE is to EH as the square on AK is to the rectangle BK KC, and that is given. All right, and then we connect DH. We draw HN parallel to the diameter. We draw MXN parallel to EH, and at this point X, we draw XO parallel to NH. And our goal, similar to the parabola and the hyperbola propositions, is to prove that the square on the ordinate is equal to the rectangle of EM times something related to EH. So in the parabola, it was just EH. In the hyperbola, it was EH plus some figure, and in the ellipse, it'll be EH minus some figure, and it'll be minus some multiple of the rectangle DEEH. The rectangle DEEH is like this. Some multiple of it just means that it's similar, so we're going to subtract this rectangle, and that will make square on LM equal to the rectangle XMME, meaning this one right here. As we begin the prop, we're going to take the point M, we're going to drop a line PMR parallel to the line BC. So what that's going to do is going to cut off a plane perpendicular to the base, because LM is parallel to FG by construction, RP is parallel to BC by construction. Both of these are in the plane of the base, both of these are in the same plane. So this entire plane will be parallel to the plane of the base, and that will mean that the points RLP are all in a cutting plane, which is parallel to the plane of the base, meaning that if you drew the section which would include all these points, it would be a circle. And like the previous two propositions, if you have a circle, you have a diameter, and then you have some point on the circle drawn perpendicular to the diameter, then the rectangle made out of the parts of the cutoff diameter will be equal to the square on the part cutting it off. So in this case, the square on LM will be equal to the rectangle RMMP. So we got square LM equal to rectangle RMMP. Okay, great. So let's take this given, and let's sort of expand out these figures in terms of the way that they were compounded, because you can think of rectangles and squares as just saying like AK times AK, BK times KC. So we've got DE, what the hell is this? EH. DA is to EH as AK is to BK compounded with AK KC. Whoops. I'm moving through these steps kind of quickly because this is the exact same pattern of steps that I did in the last two props. If you want to know about compounded ratios, you can check out Proposition 11, my video on that, or you could look at, it is Euclid what? Euclid 623. Okay, so now we're going to look at AK to BK. And let's locate them. We've got AK, we've got BK. So we see this similar triangle, EGB, similar to AKB, because EG was drawn perpendicular to AK. So as AK is to BK, EG is to GB. And as EG is to GB, well, this little triangle, where is it? Here, EMP, MP was drawn parallel to GB, so these are similar triangles. So as EG is to GB, EM is to MP. Oh. And then let's look at the terms that we can substitute for this. AK is to KC. AK, KC is this triangle AKC, and we see that there's a similar triangle DGC because DG was drawn parallel to AK. So as AK is to KC, DG is to GC. DGC is similar to the triangle DRM because they share these angles, and the line GC was drawn parallel to the line RP. So as DG is to GC, DM will be to DR. And then one last thing is we're going to substitute the term DEEH eventually. DEEH is here, and that's within this triangle. And then we have DMX, which is a similar triangle. So as DE is to EH, DM is to MX. So now let's substitute. And we're going to be bringing terms down from here. So we're going to substitute DEH with DMMX. And we're going to substitute AKBK with EMMP. We're going to substitute AKKC with DMMR. And now, instead of having these in the compounded ratio format, we're going to put them back into the figures format. So that's as DM is to MX, EM times DM is the rectangle, EM DM is to MP times MR, which is the rectangle MP MR. Alright, let's move our screen a little bit. And let's take dm mx, and let's multiply both sides by the line, I believe it's me. Yes. So that will mean dm times me is the rectangle dm me, mx times me is the rectangle mx me. So we have dm mx has the same ratio to these things, and we have dm mx has the same ratio to these things. So as em dm is to mp mr up here, dm me is to mx me. And we have the term em dm and the term em dm, and if some things have the same ratio to equals, then they are equals. So that makes mp mr equal to mx me. And if we went back up here, we have rmmp, that's rmmp equal to the square on lm. So let's substitute this with the square on lm equals mx me. And mx me is the rectangle EHEM minus the multiple of rectangle DEEH, and that's what we were trying to prove. So that is QED.